from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Thursday, July 20th. So today we will have the moon in this Leo energy go void, of course, at 10:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be shifting into Virgo energy. We'll be locking into that energy at 1:14 p.m. And just a heads up, anytime we move out of the Leo energy into the Virgo energy, things definitely get a little bit lower and slower. We become more connected to our physical bodies, to our physical realms, because of course, Virgo is in Earth energy. So we are going to kind of feel a little bit of a shift, but also keep in mind that the Virgo energy, although does keep us very present in the here and now, also is able to identify the problems, come up with solutions. We're the fixer, we're the solver, we're the healer in this Virgo energy. And emotionally speaking, we have a lot to resolve. I'm pretty sure you would tend to agree. Now, where we're at is that the moon will become a little tiny bit visible here in the night sky, which is going to give us a little bit of a green light go ahead to take a step forward, to kind of see a little bit of progress, but keep in mind that there is a lot of energy pushing us to rush, to hurry up. And of course, we can't do any of those things at this present time. So be very mindful with your energy. So we have 9 different aspects here today, and 7 of them are going to involve the moon. We first have the moon still very much in Leo energy interacting with the sun, who of course is still in Cancer energy. This is an overlap between our past and our future. And what we're left with is this present moment in the here and now. We're understanding, again, moon in Leo, what needs to be expressed, what needs to be communicated, what needs to be triggered and activated as far as new passion projects go. The moon in Leo definitely wants us to close the door on some of the heart activations that many of us have felt over the course of this last week, especially being illuminated under that new moon in Cancer. And the sun is shining a bright light in this Cancer energy on what it is that we have to build. What we're building now is a new foundation because we've let some things go, some old ideas, some old roles and responsibilities, some old versions of ourselves, some old circumstances, and therefore there's a little bit of a gap to fill in our emotional realm, in our physical realm, in our mental plane, and we really have to orient ourselves to what it is that we have to build to feel safe and secure and stable moving forward. So the moon in Leo energy will then interact with Neptune in, I'm not going to say not a negative way, but in a way that is going to present a little bit of a choice point, a little bit of a tension as far as not knowing which way to go, what direction, what choice to actually choose. So it's not necessarily a bad aspect, but many of us right now overwhelmed with the choices, with the decisions that we currently have on our plate. And therefore, many of us want to avoid these particular crossroad decision points. The moon interacting with Neptune in this way, and again, Neptune is retrograde and Pisces energy, is really having us try to figure out where it is that we're leaving things behind, what we're closing the door on, where certain dreams are no longer feasible, viable, palpable, because we're no longer in alignment with them. Neptune can really put us in a situation where we do feel overwhelmed with the energies, so much to the point where we want to kind of check out, where we want to numb, where we want to disassociate. And a lot of this is because the Pisces energy is forcing us to really kind of move into the heavier realm of our thoughts and of our emotions, recognizing what is creating a block, what is preventing us from truly aligning with our heart space and conjuring up a new dream, a new vision on what it is that we want to pursue. So then the sun in Cancer energy trines, beautiful interaction with Neptune. So this is a little bit of a magical vibe, I will say. First of all, we need to learn to go with the flow. We're in a water season. Water is very cleansing, very transformative, very healing. We have water on water action, the Cancer energy that the sun is in, the Pisces energy that Neptune is retrograde in. And what this is going to do for us, especially kind of piecing together some of the realizations that we've been illuminated to, with the new moon in Cancer on where it is that we have to kind of release control, where it is that we have to kind of detach from some of the things that we're holding on too dearly, too tightly, that are preventing the growth and the progress and moving forward. The sun trining Neptune in this way, first of all, is showing us in a very gentle manner where it is that we have to kind of let go and go with the flow. Okay, so keep in mind, this is water. We need to be fluid. We need to kind of, roll with the punches, so to speak. This is a very gentle energy, though. But what isn't gentle is this sudden beam of insight coming in from our intuition, coming in from our psychic abilities. There's a real strong sense of knowing. And this knowing is pushing us to kind of see where it is that we need a little bit of help, we need a little bit of support, where it is that we have to kind of build ourselves up in a better way, where it is that, we're really kind of seeing things from a different perspective, seeing ourselves from a different perspective, seeing our basic needs from a different perspective. And especially when it comes to relationship dynamics, I would say, because we also have to keep in the back burner of our mind that Venus is getting closer and closer to her retrograde here on the 22nd. We are typically trying to adopt the perspective and the understanding that we need to focus on the beauty in life. And especially when it comes to people, especially when it comes to our relationship dynamics, it is better to focus on the differences that make us beautiful individuals than it is to focus on the differences as a sense of, I'm going to say, non-alignment. Sometimes we're very easily put into the mental plane where, this person is so different from me. I don't understand how they can think the way that they do, how they act the way that they do. I don't typically feel comfortable with the way that they present themselves. That is a very, I'm going to say, negative approach to seeing somebody as a different individual as you. We have the potential with this particular energy to look at somebody's differences and actually think that they're a beautiful design, that they are an individual for these reasons, and that we can see the beauty in their uniqueness. Now, that is going to bring upon a lot of compassion and a lot of empathy, which we all have to have right now, starting with the compassion and the empathy with ourselves. So the moon in Leo energy is going to come up to, bump into, conjunct, team up with Venus, who, as I previously mentioned, is preparing to go retrograde. This is I'm going to say, a realization of the heart, a realization of where our priorities, our values, our perception of other people are changing. This is going to be a activation of the heart space, especially where I'm going to say our relationship dynamics are kind of popping off, because that's what Venus is going to do when she goes retrograde, is really impact our relationship dynamics. But emotionally speaking, we are heart aligned in this Leo energy. Venus is in this Leo energy as well. This is what gives us our conjunction. And so we are getting to the nitty gritty truth of the matter, if you will. And we're really kind of putting ourselves in a situation to be raw and real and vulnerable and stand in our truth and speak our piece and really get a lot of things off of our chest. Now, this is the last aspect that the moon in Leo is going to make before going void, of course. Once the moon goes void, things kind of get shaky, things get a little bit unstable. What we were sure of, suddenly now we're questioning. There's a little bit of a dip in confidence, a dip in our emotions when the moon is void. But the moon, still in the Leo energy, but now void, is going to interact with Pluto, the great transformer, who is retrograde in Capricorn energy. This kind of presents us a little bit of an opportunity to see, again, another choice point, another crossroads point. And what we're kind of doing here today is we're getting to the heart and soul, the truth, the nitty gritty of the matter. Now, Pluto, of course, is going to intensify whatever realm of emotion or thought that we're currently in. He's going to show us where it is that we're having power struggles in our heart space, where there are, I'm going to say, some activations with the control issues that we either feel in control of or don't feel in control of when it comes to our emotional realm. But at the end of the day, Pluto is here in order for us to have a change of perspective, a change in heart that eventually will lead to a true transformation. So this is going to be a very intense energy that is 100% needed in order for us to kind of get real and raw and vulnerable with ourselves and really stand in our own power, really stand in our own truth and build ourselves up, empower ourselves to really connect to those people, especially the dwindling relationships and really get a couple of things off of our chest. Now, while the moon is still void, but still in this Leo energy, we are going to trine, which is a beautiful interaction with the North Node. The North Node is now in Aries energy. We just had the nodes of the moon shift out of this Taurus and Scorpio energy after the last 18 months, and now we are in the realm of this Aries and Libran energy. So we get a fire on fire action here because the moon in Leo energy is fire. The North Node in Aries energy is fire. And what we love about fire is, first of all, it dries us up from all of these overwhelming emotions. It gives us the opportunity to burn, if you will, cut the cord, singe, a lot of the structures that we're no longer really willing to pour time and energy into. What we love about the fire energy is that it's bold and it's brave and it's initiating and exciting and passionate. And so because the moon is in this Leo energy and we are kind of sitting in the realm of our real, raw, authentic selves, the North Node is really kind of saying, okay, so where do we want to go from here? We've identified a new excitement, a new passion, a new desire. How are we going to piece it together? What moves are we going to make? What steps are we going to take? At 1:14 p.m., this is when we shift into the Virgo energy. This is when you are going to feel that energy shift, going from that very kind of fiery, sparky, spicy, exciting type of energy into a grounded, logical, practical approach to life. That is what the Virgo energy has us doing. So it's actually quite some time before we even have a moon in Virgo aspect. Considering the fact that we have Mars opposing Saturn, that's kind of the big deal. That's a major interaction here for the day. So the moon is in Virgo, but we're not having any aspects with the moon in Virgo as of yet. Mars, who is in the Virgo energy, is going to sit across from and directly oppose Saturn, the Lord of Karma, who is retrograde in this Pisces energy. Okay, so this is a little bit of a funk, but let me tell you about this funk because funk is important. What is happening between the Mars and Saturn energy, this opposition, sitting across the table from each other, creating a little bit of a oppositional confrontation dialogue, if you will. What's taking place at this particular moment is that the blockages, the obstacles are being illuminated. Okay, so that doesn't sound like much fun, but it's necessary. Why is it necessary? Because we have to identify the problem in order to solve it. That's what the Virgo energy is all about. Now, this is a little bit of an intense energy. This, let me just say, okay, there is this want, need, and desire to push, to hurry up, to push, to solve things, to fix things, to have everything figured out, okay? That's that Mars energy. It's just relentless. The Saturn energy comes in and says, whoa, you need to pump the brakes, okay? Because if you rush, if you push, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to create a mess. So instead of like pushing ourselves and being a little bit more aggressive with ourselves and, you know, kind of tripping over our own feet trying to make things happen, what the lesson that we should be learning in this is that we have to slow down and have some patience. Saturn is here saying, okay, listen, you got the willpower, you got the determination, you got the motivation. Now, where's the discipline? Where's the restraint? Where's your logical, practical mindset? This is a time where Saturn comes in to give Mars a little bit of a reality check on why it is that we have to manage our energy a little bit better. You'll hear me say often, and I'll repeat myself again, Mars, the downfall of Mars, and of course Aries energy, because Mars rules over Aries energy, is that we have poor energy management skills. We go balls to the walls and then we burn ourselves out long before we ever see the goalpost. And Mars is in Virgo energy, and Virgo energy is not standing for that. Virgo energy is an earth energy who needs to see the strategy, who needs to see the calculated moves being made in order to not waste time, energy, or resources. So at this particular point in time, it may feel like we're being blocked, like we're being kind of restricted, like we're being challenged, like we don't know how we're going to, get over this hump or get through this blockage or make any kind of progress. But this isn't meant to discourage us. This isn't meant to derail or detour us. What it's meant to do is to teach us to boss up, to be mature, to tap into the wisdom. When you know better, you have to do better. And so in some area, there is this rush, there is this harsh kind of impulse control that we have to have everything figured out now. We have to have everything just, tickety-boo. We have to have a plan. We have to have a strategy. We have to make moves. We have to make progress. No, that is just the ego talking. We're needing to really align with the higher selves, really needing to align with our observer selves and understand that when we are given hints and clues that we're banging our head against a wall, then maybe we should step back and stop banging our head against a wall. Okay, so it is going to feel a little bit like, we're being challenged, like, things are never going to work. We're never going to get a break. Wah, wah, wah. But at the same time, this is an awakening to where it is that we have to understand we have to do things right. We have to be a little bit more, I'm going to say patient, which I know none of us really, we don't have patience, but it is going to show us where it is that, patience and willpower and discipline are the ingredients that we've been missing out of this quote unquote recipe that we're trying to bring to life. And by tapping into those things, which nobody wants to do because they take time, by tapping into those things, we're actually building a much stronger plan, a much stronger structure, a much stronger, I'm going to say plan of action. Dream, vision, goal, whatever the case may be. So that's a little bit of a cluster F of energy here today. Now, many hours later, and let me just break this down for you. Our last moon aspect is in the Leo energy. We just talked about it. It was that trine with the North Node. That took place at 11:58 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mars and Saturn, they have their little interaction at 4:39 p.m. At 11:17 p.m., okay, is when we have our very first moon aspect, and the moon at this particular point is now in Virgo energy. When the moon is in Virgo energy, we want to analyze our lives, our details, what it is that's going on in our mental plane, the habits, the behaviors, the to-do list, the problems, in order to actually solve them. Well, the moon in Virgo is going to interact with Chiron, the wounded healer, who's in this Aries energy. And let me just say that this also doesn't feel good, especially coming out of the very tension-filled aspect of Mars opposing Saturn. It doesn't feel good. It's not supposed to, but we need it because it's illuminating for us where it is that we're feeling vulnerable, where it is that we're feeling insecure, where it is that we don't feel well equipped to handle the obstacles and challenges that we are being faced. We need to be illuminated to where it is that we're not feeling safe, secure, strong, confident, optimistic, where we're not feeling capable at the moment. We need to be illuminated to that in order to try to build ourselves up, in order to fix it and solve it and correct it. The last aspect that we have here today is going to be a powerful one because the moon in the Virgo energy is going to make a very positive interaction with Pluto, the great transformer, who is retrograde in the Capricorn energy. You will often hear me talk about how I love Virgo energy and Pluto energy when they are interacting in a positive way. Why is that? Okay, so the Virgo energy being ruled over by Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, that rules over our egoic intellect. And Pluto kind of does a deep dive in our psyche, really examines our programming, our conditioning, our inner narratives, whether they are the unconscious part of self or the conscious part of self. We do a deep dive in our deep psychological makeup. Okay, so this is a positive interaction. What are we doing here? Well, first of all, we're intensifying the mental plane. There's a major focus on our inner realm of thought, the inner workings of our brain. Pluto is here to illuminate the power struggles, the blockages, the pain, the trauma, the conditioning, the programming that keeps us in an egoic, reactive pattern of behavior where our unconscious selves are more empowered than our conscious selves are. And the minute that we bring this into our awareness, we have the ability to overwrite that narrative, to overwrite that script. And what we need to do is be very, very fixated, focused, tunnel visioned on the narrative that is currently looping in our heads that may not be providing the most encouraging, loving, supportive narrative that we need at this very pivotal point in time and change. And so Pluto, he's the great transformer, he is able to turn that painful conditioning programming into something more powerful. He's into examining the darkest parts of the inner realm of our psychology and our psyche and illuminating it to the light. What does that mean? It means that light is information. Light is knowledge. Light is wisdom. Light is intuition. Light is consciousness. So the minute that we examine where these mental blockages are, or where this programming is preventing us from actually progressing through the challenges and obstacles that we're being faced, then we have the power to flip the script. So it's a beautiful setup for what is going to be a very interesting next couple of days. Why do I say that? Well, because this is happening very late Thursday evening. Friday is the very last day of Cancer season and the very last day of Venus being direct, followed by Saturday, which is when we see Venus actually go retrograde and Leo season begin. So it is setting us up to take a very detailed inner look, if you will, at our mind space and give us the opportunity to get organized, to restructure it, to kind of, give it a different focus, give it a different narrative so that we have a better understanding, acting as the observer on what it is that we're about to witness with these ever-changing energies.